I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, I can fly. I'm crawling around, searching for higher ground. Can't see in front of me, my enemies have tried every possibility. Ability to know if I can bleed. If that's what you wanted, you won't get it tonight. 'Cause I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, I can fly. Take me away from home. Show me all the places I've never known. And we'll chase the night. Race all of these broken dreams in flight. And we'll fly.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you warmly today to our UGS Talk, Inspiration from our International Alumni. And I'm not going to stand in the way of our International Alumni for long, but I just want to go through a few things in terms of your talk today. It's fantastic to see so many of you here, and particularly for me because my name is Haripreeth Iyer and I'm the Director of Student Employability, so all things employability are absolutely on our radar as a team. And I head up the Careers Network team, which I'm hoping is very familiar to you all and that you've connected with the team over the time that you've been here. The good news is that if you haven't, today is a fantastic opportunity for you to do that, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. So today you're going to be hearing from some fantastic international postgraduate alumni that are going to share their career journeys and successes with you. But as importantly as those successes is the advice and insights that they're going to share. And this should really help with your career journeys and your next steps and inform some of the thoughts, ideas and ambitions that you've got and help you plan in terms of how you'll take those next steps to help you get there. In Careers Network and the University Graduate School, we really know just how important it is that the activities and support that we offer really enable a wide range of career aspirations, because each of you will be sat here today with a really different view of what success looks like for you in terms of your career and what you want those next steps to be. And for some of you, you might be sat here actually not certain of what those next steps should be or what success will look like for you. And that's why attending events such as this, networking, speaking to one another, speaking to our alumni, and also connecting with the Careers Network team and the University Graduate School is really going to help you form those plans, work out what to do next to help you get there and really help you achieve those varied ambitions. So we work really closely together across Careers Network and the University Graduate School to help you hone your employability skills, explore and plan your next career steps and achieve your career goals. So we offer everything from careers fairs to employer events, mentoring and enterprise support if you're looking at starting your own business, plus a huge range of bespoke career services that are specifically designed for our postgraduate taught and postgraduate research students. So I have got a QR code that you might want to just link onto that's going to give you all the details about the very tailored support available to yourselves for you to take a look, take and explore. And also there might be things you see there that interest you that you want to ask the Careers Network team about today. Careers Network are also going to be involved in the upcoming 2024 Postgraduate Research Festival, and that's taking place in June. We're going to be offering some careers workshops, some talks. Alumni partners will be contributing to that event, so you'll be able to hear from them as judges and as speakers. And it will offer a really exceptional networking opportunity. And as well as our tailored support and services, we offer a wide range of tailored events, including our postgraduate taught essentials employability workshops coming soon, and a range of events for you to connect with both online and in person. So I've got another QR code for you that's going to help you linked specifically to those events. And again, I would encourage you to digest those pages, to take a look, but as importantly, to speak to the Careers Network team about the different events available and what might help and support you and your next steps. So together, Careers Network and the University Graduate School are here to support your amazing next steps. And for some of you, that's going to be into business and industry. For others, it might be starting your own business. And for some of you, it will be transitioning into an academic research route. I want to warmly encourage you to maximise all the networking opportunities available today. You could have logged on after today's event and have watched the talks that you're going to hear today. But the thing that will really make the difference are the conversations that you have, the connections you make, and the things that you find out and reflect on through the event today. The things that you're going to be doing through that networking opportunity. I'd also like to encourage you to link with the Careers Network team, and there are some faces just here over to my left, your right, who are going to be able to meet with you when you go through to the networking sessions and really share the support that's available, but hear about what interests you, what you'd like to find out more about, and the support that we've got available that can help you make those next steps. So do reach out to the Careers Network team with any questions. But I'm absolutely certain that the stars of the event today are our exceptional alumni, Haripreeth Iyer and Professor Yemisi Tokawingi. And so I'd like to thank you all for joining us today to officially open today's UGS talk and to welcome Professor Duncan Shepherd to the stage. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Etta, very much. Good afternoon. My name is Duncan Shepherd and I'm the Postgraduate Dean. So whether you're a PGT or a PGR, you're a part of a very large postgraduate community here at the University of Birmingham, with around 3,500 postgraduate researchers and over 11,000 postgraduate taught students on various programs. So today we've got two fantastic alumni speakers here. One has done a PhD and the other has done a postgraduate taught master's degree. So you're going to hear some very different perspectives. After the talks, we're going to have a Q&A session. So as you're listening to the talks, we're going to use Slido to actually ask the questions. So just to get it working and a bit of audience participation, if you'd like to go to slido.com on your mobile devices and type in the code 2998918. And the first poll we've got is, are you a postgraduate researcher or from a postgraduate taught program? So far it is 100% PGT, but I'm sure we've got some postgraduate researchers on the way. Our second poll, oh, there we go. We've got 9% PGR there. Our second poll is we're finding out which part of the university you're from. So which of the 5 colleges do you belong to? So engineering, physical science, high, oh no, of course. Good, so we've got good representation from all the colleges. And as Etta mentioned, there is a networking event afterwards, and that's your chance to go and meet with some people outside your own discipline and start forming your networks. So UGS Talks, they're organised by the University Graduate School, and this is now our 6th UGS Talks, and we're revisiting the theme of alumni. But other talks have included entrepreneurship, disability, and sustainability. We're always interested to hear from you, so if you've got any topics that you'd like to hear from UGS Talks, do get in touch with the Graduate School. And before I introduce our speakers, I'd just like to say hello to people who are watching the recordings of this event later. So it's my pleasure to introduce our two alumni speakers, Haripreeth Iyer and Professor Yemisi Takwinji. Haripreeth is currently working as a graduate highway engineer at Ramboll after completing his master's degree in civil engineering and management here at the University of Birmingham. And Yemisi is based in the Test Evaluation Research Group within the Institute of Applied Health Research here at the University of Birmingham. So I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Haripreeth, to the podium.
Hello all. I'll just check whether the mic is working. Yeah, it's working fine. Yep. Good afternoon all. My name is Haripreeth Iyer and I'm working as a graduate highway engineer at the Ramboll, UK. So I'm here to talk about my time at the UOB, my course which was a taught masters, and how did I align my job opportunities during my time of study. So going with the bits of background, I did my undergraduate, my bachelor's in engineering from Mumbai, India in 2018. After that, I worked with contractors for 3 years in India to understand the industry in India and about my own sector as well. While working, I noticed the colleagues that I was working with, they had ample of technical aptitude, but some of them lacked the managerial skill set. And some of the colleagues who had ample of managerial aptitude, they lacked some of the technical skill set. And I just thought to myself, if I want to do a postgraduate, I want to bridge this gap. So I thought of studying MSc in Civil Engineering and Management at the UOB. Graduated in 2022, and I started working as a highway engineer in Ramboll in 2023, January. So the why of UK and UOB. Doing my master's in the UK, I had 3 strong reasons. First one was the rich cultural the rich cultural heritage that UK offers, architectural heritage, and plus one of the best pioneers in urban planning. Initially, pre-COVID, I had the aspiration to do my master's in New Zealand, but I think they shut their borders really hard, and that made my ship sail to United Kingdom. 1 year of master's plus world-class institution. All of us are aware that the top 100 institutes in the world, most of them are concentrated in the United Kingdom. The top 2 itself in the UK as well. By the master's at the University of Birmingham. While doing my research for the master's, I thought of expanding my course to a PhD, and I thought of doing a PhD in railway research, and University of Birmingham offers one of the best railway research opportunities in the United Kingdom. So that's the reason I chose UOB, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the most important factor for me was bridging the gap between the technical aptitude and the managerial aptitude, which is MSc in Civil Engineering and Management. There were a few institutions which was offering this course. One was University of Birmingham and other one was University of Glasgow. So my time at UOB, right from attending lecture to enjoying the festival vibe of University of Birmingham Annual Festival, to unwinding myself during the spring in Winterbourne Gardens and having a packed calendar. Definitely my 1 year of master's was demanding time. It was really demanding, and it also helped me to unlearn and be comfortable in being uncomfortable. But I think it did bring the best out of me. And be it the sports and fitness center, to be in track with my physical and my mental goals. And I had an opportunity to do an internship at Morgan Sindall as well. Luckily, it was within the university campus. The molecular science building that has been recently opened, I had an opportunity to work in that project. And every UOB student will relate to is most of the time went adoring old Joe. So yes. During the UOB festival, I volunteered for a boot camp. I participated in a boot camp, and that's the picture that you're seeing with my team. So the picture says it all. This is the project. So the current molecular science building, how did it look before attending CN network, careers and network sessions? Just a snippet of my calendar. Everything that was as least and equally important. So all the things, right, ranging from least to high importance was in my calendar during my time of study. I felt it is easily possible to miss on anything, and I couldn't afford to miss on any sessions that I had signed up for, to miss on any assignment that was due for submissions. So yep. And UOB Sports and Fitness Center. So what did my course give me? MSc in Civil Engineering and Management was something that the industry needed. So my course did cover what the industry was looking for. It gave me a professional outlook and approach to conduct myself, and at the same time, it was industry relevant. Diving a bit in detail, what it means was definitely my course did cover what the industry was looking for. Every year, my course was being updated to suit the latest standard of practice. So what I studied was as per the latest standard of practice during my time of course. Giving me a professional approach and outlook. Working under pressure, I think I couldn't agree to more. My time at the university, when I was working in tight submissions and deadlines, after working a year in the industry, I can relate to it. Working under pressure in the UOB does come close to working in the industry as well. Aptitude to find and seek answers. This is something that stayed with me. I feel the patience that you have to find the answers when you go out there, when you'll start working, is something that the course will teach you. So all the resources and all the facilities that you have at your disposal, and even the professors will insist you to make most of the resources and try to find and seek answers yourself. Because it's very important to arrive at a conclusion yourself without being influenced by any other sources. So yeah, the course did give me the aptitude to go and seek answers. Sustainability and net zero, which was very relevant. What is the goal of United Kingdom? What is the goal globally? What are we achieving in civil engineering industry? And one topic that was resonating a lot is sustainability. And working in diverse group. My course did give me the opportunity to work in diverse group, and I feel to my industry, now after a year of working, any project success that I see, it's not an individual success, it's a team success. So I feel working within a team, working in diverse group is very important, and the university did cover that up in all the group work that was offered during my course. How to present yourself and how to present your ideas. It's very important. Sometimes you lose the essence of the idea when you try to translate it from one table to another. So I feel the university kept emphasizing that how you should converse your idea and how you should communicate it to the people so that it's easily understood and it's easily available to them as well. Dissertation on asset management. After working with the contractors in India and in the United Kingdom as well, the reason of shifting my trajectory to design consultancy was this dissertation. I did a topic that was not covered in my School of Engineering pool of topics, and I started forming my own topic in the 3 months of dissertation. So, yeah. Important thing that my research dissertation taught me was you can't arrive at a conclusion in the beginning itself. You have to go through the process of trial and error, and only then you will arrive at a conclusion that will have a measurable output. So again, like I mentioned earlier, the patience to find the answer is something that was my key takeaway during my research dissertation of my course. I feel the aptitude to find an answer and having a measurable output. Be it life or be it the research, anything that you're doing needs to be a measurable output. So I think this takeaway stayed with me for a long period of time. working on the latest software. As a student, you have access to all the latest softwares, to all the necessary things, to all the research journals that you're looking out for. So I feel you have ample of resources to cite your journal, to reference your research thesis. So nothing should stop you to go out and choose a topic that the industry is looking for. And from here, I got the passion to pursue a full-time career in transport. So what will be my key takeaways after studying? Importance of valuable transferable skills. It's really important to understand that the transferable skill set is something that will help you to sustain in the industry. I'm not undermining the quality of technical aptitude. Technical aptitude will help you to perform, but the transferable skill set will help you to sustain. How you conduct yourself across everyone, how you communicate to people, how you behave in your day-to-day life at the workplaces is something that comes from transferable skill set. Adaptive and going with the flow. Be always adaptive, like I mentioned earlier. Sometimes the journey might be uncomfortable, but be comfortable in being uncomfortable because you're here to learn, you're here to grow as a person. And I think you can't go with the stream of flow if it's flowing against you. So it's always good to change and go with the flow. Networking within the industry is very valuable. Always network with people, like-minded people. Sometimes I get these questions a lot. What was the most important in your journey? Was it the destination or was it the journey? I always say it's the company. The people that you converse with on a day-to-day basis, the people that you have your conversation with after you pass out from this university will hold a lot of value. Value of teamwork, which I covered earlier. Emotional intelligence at workplaces. Do understand what to speak, when to speak, and how to speak. The reason is no one will stop you to say out your opinions and to say out your mind out, to speak your mind out, but always be aware of the invisible filters. Be mindful of the room that you're speaking in, and be always mindful of the audience. And that's the reason the course also made me aware of the emotional intelligence which was needed. I covered that earlier. My key take on opportunities. Work consistently and expanding your skill set. Like I mentioned, it's a 1 year of masters. It's going to be really intense. The reason that it's a 1 year of masters, you have signed up for, you have committed for a course which is extremely time demanding. So you will be working on yourself in 3 months of time, in 6 months of time, improving yourself. So be mindful and keep working on the skill set that you feel will help you in the job opportunities, will help you align the job opportunities. Understanding your market. This was something which worked out for me. What I did was, I quickly did a market research, and I tried to understand my market regionally, I tried to understand my market nationally, and I tried to understand my market internationally. You're studying in a university which is a world-leading university. Nothing should restrict you to seek out opportunities internationally as well. So seek opportunities, have a own background market research, and understand what international opportunities your market holds, because your degree does give you a worldwide significance. So yes. Power of networking. Student volunteering and part-time job. Like any other international student, I was no different. I did opt for part-time job opportunities, but I told myself I didn't want to commit to part-time job opportunities for a long period of time. But I couldn't deny it gave me some necessary transferable skill set which stayed with me. Asking for feedback. Don't hesitate to ask constructive feedback from your colleagues that you work in your in groups, from your professors, from the people that you converse during the time of your course. Ask each other to give recommendation. Ask each other to give endorsements on LinkedIn, and this will work. Making most of LinkedIn. LinkedIn worked for me, and I feel most of the market analysis and most of the market research that I did came from LinkedIn. So make most of LinkedIn, and also LinkedIn Learning, which is free for a year. Updating your CV. Keep updating your profile and your CV during your time of study, and always be in line with your transferable skill set. continually professionally developing yourself. So in the United Kingdom, we have something called as the CPD. So always continually professionally develop yourself and record your CPDs so that during the time of interview, you can showcase your skill set. Ask about the journey rather than the reference. Whenever my approach to networking with people was always asking about their journey first rather than having a reference or a recommendation at the first go. I feel sometimes it comes across very uncomfortable. Without knowing a person, you can't recommend or refer them. So it's always good to first initiate the conversation, build the relationships up, and then when you feel like the conversation has arrived at a point, now you can ask what the company or the XYZ person has to offer you job-wise. Open the doors of conversation. But first, build a relationship, build the network up, and then open the doors of conversation appropriately. So yeah, reform, transform, and perform. And at the end of this, the whole presentation, my top 3 tips will be network and keep yourself, your profile, and your CV updated. Be honest with your experience. Sometimes it's always, we do get carried away with emotions where we use dramatic words in our CV. So be honest with your experience, and I feel the best way to communicate it is being honest with it. Because if you have done it, the employer will eventually find out that you have done a particular experience that you're stating in your CV. So be honest with it. And have your whys worked out. Meaning by why is why this particular company, why this particular institution, why this particular course. Have all those whys worked out. It's always good the employers see for the clarity that you hold, and that can make a striking first impression. So have your whys worked out. And I think that's it for me. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you so much.
So keep the questions coming in on Slido. You can ask all the way through, and at the end we're going to have a sit down with our 2 guests and go through the questions asked. So next up, I'd like to invite Yemihi to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I feel like I don't need to say anything. Everything's already been said, but you may feel shortchanged, so I'll still continue with the talk. So, my name is Yemisita Kwangi, and I did not set out to have an academic or research career or even to be a biostatistician. And I hope you'll see that through the talk. But thank you for this opportunity to share my career journey. A bit about myself. I am married with 2 daughters, aged 22 and 26. And apparently, I don't look my age, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So, from one clock tower to another clock tower. And I just want to give you a bit about my background. Any Nigerians in the audience? All right, just me then. So, my earliest memory is of growing up at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. My parents were no academics, but my dad worked at the university at the time for a few years. And even when we left, I was still going to the university almost every day because I went to the staff primary school. I went to secondary school there as well. And then eventually left that university, went to university elsewhere, but I came back to Ibadan, that was my home, and got married in the chapel in the university. So I felt like I was never leaving a university, so I did not want to work in a university or be an academic, even though I'd had a wonderful life in the university. So, got married, emigrated to the UK, to Scotland. My husband was starting a clinical attachment at the Glasgow Royal Infirmary, and we were there for a few years. So, my career has not been a straightforward, linear path. It has not been difficult, I just like this image, but it has been hard work. I've had incredible support from my husband, which meant that I've been able to make important career-changing decisions that has led to me having 3 careers. So first, and I haven't found a better image for this, so if you do let me know. First is veterinary medicine, that was my undergraduate degree, and then computer programming, and finally became a biostatistician. So you might be wondering, why couldn't I just make up my mind what I was going to do with my life? Well, after immigrating, changing career was a necessity, having stayed at home for 3 years with our young daughter, and I'd liked computer programming, so I thought, well, computing was a big thing at the time, that I'll go into a career in information technology. Just as I was finishing my MSc in information technology, we moved to the West Midlands, and I got my job at the University of Birmingham, working in the Birmingham Clinical Trials Unit as a programmer, because I thought I'll combine both my clinical background as well as my computing background. A few years in, I went from trainee analyst programmer to senior analyst programmer, but I got bored and also could not see how I could go further up the ladder. So I got into medical statistics because I saw in the trials unit the importance of statistics in medical research. So I was inspired and supported to take an open university module, which then led on to a diploma in statistics, and I then went on to do an MSc in medical statistics at the University of Leicester, and this was in 2007. And when I finished that, the master's, I came back, I'd taken study leave, and I did not fancy being a trial statistician, and a job came up in the institute where I still work now as a research fellow in test research. So you and the rest of the public probably know a lot more about tests now since the pandemic, and it's just a wonderful field to work in. I started in evidence synthesis, so that too, in 2008, as a research fellow working in test research. That post was funded by a National Institute for Health and Research grant to provide statistical support to Cochrane review groups and review authors, because Cochrane had decided to start publishing Cochrane diagnostic accuracy reviews in the Cochrane Library. For those of you who may not know about Cochrane, Cochrane is a global organization of thousands of members and supporters from 190 countries. So it was a fantastic opportunity to collaborate with people nationally and internationally. So my work started in evidence synthesis, but has then moved on to early evaluation of tests right through clinical studies, as well as to guideline development as well. And you might be thinking, so who cares about these reviews? Well, there are many organizations that fund, produce, and use these reviews, and coupled with the issues that I was finding in supporting people to do these reviews, I decided to register for a PhD part-time alongside my work at the University of Birmingham. So I started my PhD in 2010, and I was encouraged to apply for an NIHR doctoral fellowship, which was awarded. And that for me was a real transformational moment, because it was the first time that I had told the story of my 3 careers, and they believed me and thought I had potential. So that got funded. I finished my PhD in 2016. I got promoted to senior research fellow. The following year, I applied for an NIHR postdoctoral fellowship. They still thought I had potential. That was awarded as well. And I did that part-time over 5 years alongside my work as well. And then in 2020, I was promoted to chair at the time, becoming one of 35 Black female professors in UK universities. 2021 became Deputy Director of the Institute, which is one of the principal academic units in the College of Medical and Dental Sciences. So, last year we published this book, which is the Cochrane Handbook for Diagnostic Accuracy Reviews. And why I've put this book up there, because it took 20 years to write that book. I only got involved for 15 years, but it was the fact that I'd asked important questions in my PhD that led to a lot of the work that I had done in my PhD becoming material that fed into 3 chapters in the book, as well as being invited to be one of the editors of the book. And that book is a comprehensive text that tells people how to do these reviews. So the next thing I want to talk about is the clinical areas that I work in. I work across a broad range of clinical topics as a statistician, but increasingly I wanted to do more in infectious diseases. And that was, again, because of my veterinary background, as well as the 2 diseases that really I was passionate about, which is malaria and tuberculosis. Because these 2 diseases have a huge impact on sub-Saharan Africa. One of the early reviews that I did, and is a case study in my PhD, was looking at rapid diagnostics for Plasmodium falciparum malaria, which has been used to inform WHO guidelines. And then TB was another area that I had done a primary study, working on a primary study in my work at the university with colleagues in Imperial, and I wanted to develop that area of work as well. So as part of the postdoctoral fellowship, you're offered an opportunity to have collaborations and also travel overseas if you want. But one of the things that I wanted to develop was the guideline aspect, because I wanted to see in real life how those evidence reviews are used to make recommendations. So this lovely lady who I met when I ran a workshop at a Cochrane colloquium in 2013, and we had been exchanging emails. I became her go-to person if she had any methodological questions. And so I approached her to say, can you make an introduction to the WHO Global TB program? Because she had been working on reviews for the WHO, and those reviews of this test, the expert test, that was a game-changer test that the WHO recommended in 2010, and since then we keep looking at the evidence and updating the guidelines. So she kindly introduced me to the program, and beyond that, she also invited me to come and work on one of the reviews. This was on expert in children. And she also invited me along to the guideline meeting. So this was in 2019. And Karen, she has a passion for mentoring junior researchers from low and middle income countries, as well as women to undertake a career in science. So these are some of us at the meeting that she has mentored and supported. And it was a real eye-opener to be part of that WHO guideline and development group meeting in 2019. Karen retired last year, and she has now handed over the baton to me to continue to lead the work of doing these evidence reviews for the TB program. So you can see we've had this dynamic update of the guidelines, and now I'm leading a team of 5 review teams of 24 people from across the world to deliver the evidence reviews for the guideline meeting in Geneva in May this year. The other example I want to use is one where I was approached. So previously, I approached Karen. This time, it was somebody approaching me. And that's Viru, who is in the middle, proudly holding his award. And he reached out to me when we were both NIHR doctoral fellows. At the time, he he heard through a networking event, actually. It was at an NIHR conference, and we had written our profiles, and he reached out to me that he was looking for someone with test expertise. And that is what then led to this award-winning landmark trial that has changed the diagnosis of prostate cancer nationally and internationally. The other person in that photograph is the person who gave me my research fellow job, who also became my primary PhD supervisor, encouraged me to apply for the NIHR fellow, and has been a mentor to me. So you just never know who could become quite important in your life. And Viru has been a collaborator, and we still continue to work together, and also a friend. So alongside my research, I have a passion for capacity building, and I run courses, workshops, nationally and internationally. And they've had the unintended consequence of expanding my network, leading to papers, book chapters, PhD supervision, as well as travel. And that's been really good. The other example there, the one in Wengen, you can notice the date. That was just before the pandemic. And there was someone I met there who works in the Emerging Infectious Diseases unit at FIND, which is the Global Alliance for Diagnostics. So when the pandemic, well, we didn't see the pandemic coming, but when we were then told to do some work, I reached out to her, and we ended up collaborating on evaluating diagnostics for COVID-19 and SARS-CoV-2. So you can see that it's not just about my research, but even through teaching, been able to make some good connections and networks. So if you are good at something, or for those who are PGRs in the room, you may be the one who knows the most about the area or topic you're researching, and maybe there are people who want to find out something about that area. Maybe you put on a seminar or a workshop, and if you can't do it alone, invite other people to support you, your supervisor, or the network around you. So going from research fellow to chair, I was on a research pathway, but also taught along the way, and education is important to me because that's the other side that's part of capacity building. And 2 weeks ago, one of the people who did the medical statistics module that I lead in the School of Maths wrote this email. And her email was really very emotional. I found it very emotional because it's not just about teaching people, but also the impact that we have on the direction that people take and find their own career pathways. So that's really very important to me as well. So that kind of sums up my interest in terms of my research, what I did before, what I've done after, and my kind of capacity and career development passion has grown into more of thinking more about an inclusive and positive culture where we nurture people so that everyone has what they need to thrive. And that's come about through internal and external roles that I've taken over the years. And that is what has now led me to leading the new NIHR Race, Equity and Diversity in Careers Incubator to support the careers of people from racially minoritized background who have an interest in health and care research. So I do things that are not just about research, but also improving research culture. So to sum up, almost 23 years at Birmingham, it'll be 23 years next month, and I seem to have done it all, or almost everything. I've worked part-time, full-time, started in a tech support role, moved into an academic-related role, and my work has been flexible around my family, so I've been able to do most of what I wanted to do, or if not all. But as the previous speaker said, you might think this is just about me. It's not about me. It's been about the people around me. And that's one of the pieces I want to leave with you in terms of thinking, You need the right people around you. There are people who have championed me, who have nudged me, who have opened doors and given me the opportunity to thrive. So it's really important to be with the right people in the right place, doing the right things, and hopefully at the right time everything falls into place. And I love this quote by Pele. Any Brazilians? Football lovers? Well, I'm not a football person, but I love this quote because I think it sums up, well, my story really, that success is rarely an accident. It's hard work, it's perseverance, and having the right work ethos. And my work ethic is underpinned by my Christian faith of giving the best whatever you're doing. And for me, I've been there. So learning and studying, well, an undergraduate degree, a diploma, 2 MScs, and finally a PhD at Birmingham. And I decided that was enough. My sister still teases me and said, have you got any more? Definitely not. My brain cannot cope. But it hasn't stopped me from learning. I'm still learning, but no formal degrees. And most importantly, also enjoying what you do. Because, you know, when you're up till 2 a.m. studying, you need that motivation to keep going, either because you love what you're doing or because it matters. So I hope you've got a flavor that for me, it's really been about people. People are at the heart of what I do, whether it's my research, the impact on people, or the people that I work with, the people I teach, the people I collaborate with. And I've had the opportunity of reflecting over my career for various reasons in the last year, including being on the university's Senior Leaders Program. And I've come away with 3 things. I try not to have a very long list because I just can't remember. And I hope you will remember these 3, even if you remember nothing else from this talk. One is to care. Care about what you do and care about the people around you. Whether they're above you, they're below you, or they're next to you at your level, care about people. Connect. You've heard it said already, connect. Build relationships. And even if you can't help people, you don't have the capacity, you can still connect people. And I just love doing that, you know, opening doors for people. So connect with people. And finally, collaborate. For me, it's been a lot about team science. Maybe it's my discipline. But even if it's not, I think there's a lot to be said for collaboration, particularly if you want to have impact. And so collaboration is not always easy. It's not always successful. So do your homework before you get into a collaboration. And also try and find a get-out clause if you get into a collaboration that is not working for you. So I'm going to finish on this slide, which is, I don't know, South Africans in the room? Nope. So I don't know if you know where this is, but behind us is Table Mountain, and we are on Lion's Head. When I was asked to climb this mountain, I did not want to, for 4 reasons. 1, it was a very early start in the morning. Secondly, I was traveling that day. I didn't fancy doing anything that was too rigorous. 3rd, I was on feet. And most importantly, even though I don't really think I have a fear of heights, I don't like being near the edge. All sorts of things go in my mind. But I did it anyway. And so that's what I want to close with, that, you know, you might feel the fear, but do it anyway. You know, don't be afraid to ask. So dare to ask, dare to do, and you just don't know what could happen. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so we're going to move into our Q&A session. So brilliant talks, thank you. And we've got a whole series of questions. I think I'm going to have to get my readers on here.
I can't read it.
Yeah.
Can we make that a bit bigger at all?
I thought it was just me.
I could bring it up. Right, I'll move a bit closer and then I can see it. So, maybe start with Haripreeth, give Yemi a rest for a moment.
Yeah.
How did your postgraduate studies prepare you for your current role? Because have you moved around roles at all in your job?
Yes.
Yeah. So for your current role, how is it prepared?
Like I covered in my presentation, I feel the modules that were covered in my course, that was very relevant to the industry and the jobs I was applying for. I was applying for the jobs other than the current domain that I'm working in. I was applying for the managerial job and the technical job opportunities as well. I feel the dissertation is something that did the charm, worked as a charm for me. And I feel it's very important. Some of the team that I was having the conversation with, they were keen on understanding what I did in my 3 months of dissertation. So I feel, yes, the course did give me the opportunity to present my passion really well, very rightly covered by our speaker. I feel it's important to have a passion and love for what you're doing. So I had a passion for civil, I had a passion for transport, and the dissertation did help me to bring that out. So yeah, that worked as a charm.
Okay. Move on to one for Yemi. I'm nervous about job interviews. What's the best advice you can give people to calm their nerves?
So about job interviews, I find as someone who is on the other side as well, interviewing people, that actually the people interviewing you too might be nervous because they're really keen to find the right person. So I think it's for you to be true to yourself and also practice, whether it's getting, I don't know, the people that are around you, whether that's your supervisors or fellow students, or if you're a postgraduate taught student, maybe some of the PGRs that are in your department, for them to help you with practicing for the interview. So I think practicing, asking people what potential questions you could be asked, and also just remembering that you've got something that they want. That's why they've invited you for the interview. And so try to relax. It's easier said than done. But yes, just think about it from their point of view as well, too, of that they just want the best and you're probably the best. That's why you're there.
Good. Haripreeth, any tips on interview techniques? And
I think my top 3 takeaways will be: do a background research about the company that you have applied for, and very rightly said, the person who is interviewing you is looking for the right candidate as well. So it's equally possible that even he might be looking for something, and he can be nervous as well while searching for the right candidate. So be clear in what you speak, have a background research about the company, and be honest with your CV. If they ask something that is written in your CV, be honest about it, and that will be my top 3 tips.
And don't waffle if you don't know the answer.
Just say
or not
don't know.
Right. I think there was a job there, maybe Haripreeth. There's a question there about being an international student and settling into the UK way of life. Have you any advice for them? If you're an international student, you've just arrived in the UK, maybe for a 1 year's master's, how do you get settled into life in the UK as quickly as possible?
I think go with the flow, understand how the UK behaves. Sometimes it can be quite possible to feel alone in this journey. So I'll say, again, equally mentioned, people are very important. So your friends, your colleagues, your professors that you have day-to-day conversation with, try to collaborate with them, try to understand what are the research topics that they are working on, try to volunteer in all the student activities that the guild offers. So I feel if someone has a very big social appetite, for myself, I was very conveniently available socially. So I was not I didn't have a very big social appetite. So I feel if someone is having a big social appetite, do sign up for activities that the guild offers. Do indulge in the different groups that the Facebook might have created. and go with the flow. Understand how the UK offers you, understand what the UK has to offer you, and yes, don't restrict any change. If you feel like change is about to happen, accept it and go with it.
Okay. A question for Yemisi. What advice would you have for postgraduate researchers wanting to pursue a career in clinical research?
So in clinical research, so I'm not a clinical person, but I've worked in that space for a while, and my husband is clinical. So in clinical research, again, it's all about building those relationships, and your supervisor will be a good point of contact to plug you into their research networks, their collaborations, and even if they don't have that sort of network or are reluctant to do so, like I said, don't be afraid to ask. A lot of, well, maybe not, well, there are people out there who welcome, contacting them by emails, tell them why you want to work with them or why them in particular. And sometimes, even if they can't help, they will signpost you to where you can get help. For the National Institute for Health Research, there are lots of different programs, right from pre-doctoral to senior investigator level, different awards that can help you get into research as well. So that's another thing that you might want to explore. Look on the NIHR website, and I'll be happy to speak to you. I don't know who it is in the audience, but you can find my email online, and I'll be happy to talk to you in more detail about how to get involved.
Great, thank you. A question for Haripreeth here. So you mentioned transferable skills a few times in your talk. Can you maybe elaborate on that and sort of explain, give some examples of what they are?
Yes. Like I mentioned earlier, I did get involved in some part-time job opportunities. So I started as a waiting staff, and that gave me the comfortability to converse and speak with people confidently, but I was not looking that for a long run, and I switched my part-time to being a part-time nanny, and that gave me the skill of being really gentle, of being very patient with kids. And right from there, I thought of doing internship, and internship gave me the confidence of understanding my market, the understanding how can I converse with like-minded people in my industry when I'm presenting any idea or when I'm talking about anything that is relevant to the industry. Some of the skills was I did break down how to organically come around people. Sometimes it is quite possible that you will get a no for a question that you ask, but it's always good to come back again at some other time. Maybe that particular person will be open to have a conversation with you. So conducting yourself, understanding what to speak, when to speak, and at the same time knowing that even if a feedback is given in a shade to work on yourself, taking it positively. These are all the transferable skill set which are needed. It might be possible you will not be appreciated in every room. There might be possible that they will say that these are the things that you might have to work on. So how you react to it, how you conduct yourself after that. These are the things that transferable skill set will give you.
Okay, thank you. Yemisi, are there any transferable skills you think are specific to researchers outside the sort of the research skills they develop that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, I think there's that perseverance, because you might be thinking, oh, I'm doing an MSc dissertation or it's a PhD thesis. You are going to learn resilience and perseverance through that, because sometimes your research plans do not go according to plan, and so you might have to think of a plan B. So that ability to be able to switch is a very good skill that you pick up in research. Or something is failing, how do you then turn that around to make it a success? And you can apply that to any area of your life. Also, along with those research skills as well, you're picking up teaching skills. Even if you're not going to teach, those teaching skills will help you if you become a researcher that people invite a lot to give talks, how to prepare your material, how to convey, communicate. So there are lots of different parts of a research when you're developing those skills that you don't actually think about it. But then later on in life, you think, oh, actually, that's why I can do that, because of something that I picked up either during the dissertation or during the thesis itself.
Great, thanks. Haripreeth, what are the challenges you face looking for job opportunities in the UK as an international student? Were there any challenges you faced, or was it a simple matter to move into a job?
Definitely not a simple matter. I did face my own set of challenges. I feel most of the international student, the number of rejections that they have is on a higher side than any national student, and it's bound to happen. So I always feel it's good to ask for feedback if you're getting rejected at intermediate stages. For me, what I was always concerned about is my rejection on the basis of skill set, or is my rejection on the basis of the factors that I cannot control. So there is always two controllables in life, one that you can control, and one you can't control. So I always used to worry about the things that I can control. So I asked the employers, I asked the team whenever I used to get a rejection, is it on the basis of the skill set? Am I lacking something in my CV, or how can I work, or how can I include something in my CV? I also did face the challenge to penetrate in the industry initially. So I feel an internship opportunity or networking opportunities whereby you get to know the person or the company the person might be working in is a good opportunity to try to penetrate or try to understand the industry better. So I feel these were the challenges that I faced.
You must see, there's a question here about sort of work-life balance. I think the question was, how did you manage your family, jobs, and doing a PhD?
Oh, I'm probably the worst person to ask about work-life balance. And somebody actually said recently that they don't like the term work-life balance because it almost means that work is a separate thing to life. Whereas for me, you know, the people I work with, I see them as kind of part of my family, and we've had some highs and some lows together. But like I said, I've done full-time and part-time. I worked part-time for a long time to be able to maintain that balance of wanting to take the kids to school. Hybrid working seems to be the thing right now, but I've been hybrid working for almost my entire 23 years at the university. And it came about because I said, look, I can't increase my hours. I can't go full-time if I have to come into the office every day. And they said, no, that's absolutely fine. So I mean, you can negotiate certain things. My husband was also great. When I've needed to really get my head down and get stuff done, he'll go out with the kids, or in church, they used to have dads and daughters weekend. That was my favorite weekend of the year when they were out of the house. But Sunday came around very quickly for some reason, and I didn't get as much done as possible. So I think it's trying to juggle things. And then with my husband as well, too, we used Outlook to organize our lives. I'll send him meeting invites and things to make sure that we were in the right places at the right time. So you would find things that work for you. We don't have, you know, the family network around us, so it meant that we had to be organized. A few close friends that helped out when we needed them. So again, it's all about find your community, find the people who will be there for you, as well as, again, organizing things in a way that works for you.
Great. We've got a question about networking, Haripreeth. How do you go about networking with people? Have you any tips on to be an effective networker in a room?
Yes. Firstly, LinkedIn, make most of it. If you feel like, for myself, if you feel you can have any more insights from me, connect to me on LinkedIn. So that's LinkedIn worked for me in most of the scenarios, and that's the way I used to network. My industry also have professional bodies and institutions, like Institution of Civil Engineering, Chartered Institute of Highways and Transport, and they used to organize sessions and speakers. They used to have speakers, industry speakers like this, and I used to get an opportunity to network with them as well. Apart from that, I feel any events or any sessions that you attend, it's always good to have a note of that speaker, and if you feel like that particular speaker will help you in your curriculum or in your job opportunity journey, do reach out to them and speak your mind out. What do you feel about the industry? What are your thoughts about the industry? And I feel that way you can open the doors of conversation. And often it's possible that a particular network will lead you to another network. And one saying that stayed true for my industry is the world is often small in the industry that you work in. So I always used to bump into people that I had a conversation with during my time of study at the UOB. So, yep.
Great. And you ever see any, you've obviously got quite a large network of research collaborators. How do you sort of keep those networks live and going?
You know, it's interesting because you think that because I've talked about networks, collaborations, that I'm an extrovert. No, I'm an introvert, but I think over time I've kind of moved along that spectrum, and maybe I sit somewhere in the middle. I'm the kind of person that when I go to a conference, I just want to be in my room and order room service, you know. But I get myself out there, nurture those relationships, and there was one, again, you know, it's really, you know, the undergraduate school put up lots of events and things, and one of the ones I went to was a networking session. And it was a brilliant session that, you know, really opened my eyes. And one of the things I took away from it was, you know, when you network, it's not about, you know, trying to meet somebody because of what you want to get out of them, but actually building a relationship. And so a lot of what has happened and my networks have come about not because I wanted something from someone, but because I really wanted to build that relationship. And then the opportunities have come out later down the line because there was already a relationship. People now knew I was credible, they could trust me, and so sometimes some of the things I was asked to do, I'm like, why are you asking me to do this? I didn't really see myself at that level, but because we already had a relationship and that trust was there, I was then invited to do those things.
Great. I've got a question about LinkedIn, or are there any other career portals that you use apart from LinkedIn at all, or any advice on that?
Yes, I think Careers and Network Panel, the job fair event that they organize, it's one way of connecting apart from LinkedIn. I think any alumni meet and greet that happens with the current student, it's a good way to meet and network with them apart from LinkedIn. I think the generic answers like Indeed and everything, you guys might be trying that all. So I feel having a conversation with your colleagues as well, what they are doing different, and having takeaways from your network's journey, and trying to see that whether that particular takeaway is going to imply in your journey. I feel yes, that will be a good opportunity apart from LinkedIn.
Good. Question to both of you. So Yemisi first, maybe. How did you deal with the issue of experience requirements, for example, an MSc plus 2 years of experience when you're in the job market? Have you had any?
Yeah, so that research fellow job that I took, and which I'm still in the same place 15 years on, I did not think I met most of the criteria of what they were looking for, but I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I'll give it a go anyway, and then I applied, and I think, was I the only one they actually interviewed? And then I got the job. So you just never know. I think sometimes, they say women, people from ethnic minority backgrounds, we want to hit all the boxes and tick everything. But, if you meet most of the criteria, and if you can tell the story about your experience of even those things that they may be looking for that you don't have, but you have other experiences, those transferable skills, those things that you can kind of tell a story around that marries with what they're looking for in that job, then that could be one way of, being the credible candidate for the job.
Great. And for Haripreeth, what's the highlight of your career to date, and what do you enjoy most about your day-to-day job?
That's a good question. I think for me, my biggest career highlight will be the people that I met over the time. I feel the relationship that I built professionally and in person as well, that stayed with me. I'm in debt of all the professors that have given me invaluable feedback and advice. And the thing that I enjoy the most is I feel inspiring the current generation, inspiring the upcoming generation to take up STEM subjects. I feel we are seeing a decline in engineering, and there is a current hatred that is going on. So I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to inspire the current generation. I'm just trying to inculcate and rekindle the spirit of joining the STEM subjects again. I feel it's a wonderful sector. I feel it's a wonderful industry to work in. Any opportunity that I get with in having a conversation with the students or with the current slot, the young minds, and that inspires me the most to give the best in my job. So yeah.
Great, thanks. Yemeni, what's the biggest challenge you've faced professionally, and how did you overcome the challenge?
The biggest challenge, I guess, is that imposter syndrome of thinking you're not good enough. Like when I was encouraged to apply for the doctoral fellowship, I thought, who would want to give me a fellowship? Because look at my career history, and they're just going to think, well, if we give her this, she's going to go off and do something else. And also just thinking I wasn't good enough. And I think it's still something that I deal with. In a way, maybe it's a good thing because it stops, big egos, keeps me grounded, keeps me, down to earth. So I think that's been the biggest challenge of dealing with imposter syndrome and just balancing life. There's just always so much to do and not enough time.
Yeah. Haripreeth, same question to you, sort of career challenges?
I feel the acceptance to understand, no matter how far I've come in my learning journey, there is always more to learn. Initially, I always used to feel a bit overconfident with my learnings. I used to think that if I've learned and digested something, there is no further learning to it. But eventually, that was the biggest challenge I faced. I always thought there is more to learn, and the acceptance that came along with it was something that I had to deal with. So yeah, that's my challenge.
Great. And question to you both. So what's your fondest memory of being a postgraduate at Birmingham? Yemeni?
What is my fondest memory? I'd have to say it was a leadership course that, again, I did. That was the first leadership course I did, was as a PGR here in Birmingham. And on the last day, we had the Vice Chancellor then, David Eastwood, came to talk to us. And yeah, that's a fun memory. I took away quite a lot from that, and I think that kind of also kick-started my leadership journey.
Great. And final question, I guess, to both of you. What do you hope to do next, and what does your future career look like? So, Haripreeth?
Wow. I feel I want to take up more leadership and managerial roles in the coming future, and I'm working for that. My immediate career goal is, there is something called as being a chartered engineer. So I want to tick that off my list. So I want to get chartered. And I feel if I get more volunteering and more opportunities to inspire and be in touch with the current generation, I feel, yeah, I'll keep taking up the leadership roles that will be coming my way. So, yep.
Same question to you, Yemeni. Plans for the future in your career?
Plans for the future. So my research's fine, teaching's great, but it's spending more time mentoring people and coaching people and paying it forward, all the support and opportunities that I've had. So that for me is spending more time doing that and supporting the different programs at the university as well as in the NIHR.
Great. Well, thank you very much. So that is the end of the Q&A session. So I'm sure you agree we've had brilliant speakers today, so maybe another round of applause for them, please. So I guess I've been writing down some words that we've been going through, and the words that came up over and over again are networking, people, and career development, which moves us nicely on to the second part of today. We have a networking event upstairs in the Rotunda, so it's a chance for you to go, meet with people from Careers Network, meet with our speakers, have some refreshments. And we want you all to do some networking, so I want you all to go and talk to somebody you've never met before. We've got people from colleges all over the university. Go and find something else out. You've had some great tips from our speakers about how to network, so please go and do that. So that's the end of today. I hope you've enjoyed UGS Talks, and we've now got a chance for the next hour or so to go upstairs, network, and speak with our alumni and with the staff. So thank you very much, and a final round of applause for our two speakers. So if you want to just leave the room and head up to the rotunda, I think there are people there to guide. Excellent, thank you.